welcome to Podcast vs. Play, episode 222. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who's bought an advent calendar for Jehovah's Witnesses. Behind every door, someone tells you to fuck off.
Like that, that's a good joke. I like that, yep.
Tony Bloody Dan. There he is.
Hi.
Hello. You alright?
How are you doing?
I like it already. It's an excellent segue into today's topic, but we're not going to talk about it just yet.
Right.
But it was perfect. But no, I'm all right. I'm absolutely drained. This podcast is obviously a lot later than planned. That's my fault, 100%. But I've been awake for like however many hours. I can't even work it out, Dan. But we've had a lot of stuff going on this week, and luckily Dan's internet came back on this afternoon. Yeah,
it just decided to just like when I ended up speaking to the ISP, they were basically like, I don't know how much I believe this, but I suppose it's possible. But they were saying that the heat, because we're having a massive heat wave in Europe for any of our abroad listeners, and it's not been pleasant. And we are a country that is famous for whinging about the weather, and we love moaning about the weather. However, this weather is now past the point of just sort of, oh bloody hell, it's too hot again. Like, it's like, oh my god, people are going to die.
Yeah, it's
like
so hot.
The rivers are drying up. Like, it is that bad. So, and half of Europe is on fire because of, and like, I found out today that the supermarkets have stopped selling disposable barbecues because potentially they could set on fire, like just spontaneously because of the heat.
I know Tesco's
and like
all of their fridges and freezers packed in because of the heat. I
was literally just going to say the same thing happened to the shop next door. Like all of their, presumably there was just tons, like physically tons and tons of food wasted because all the shop, like, because when I went in, I was like, oh, what happened to all the freezers? And he's like, oh, they just overheated. And like, there's like another couple of Sainsbury's, like all of them, like they've all gone down because, like, so the amount of wasted food. I'm hoping it went to someone, but like we're not doing well with this.
The thing is, we're not equipped to deal with it, obviously, because we have hot weather for a bit and then it goes away for a year. But obviously, you get this kind of heat in other countries, but all the buildings are fitted with like air conditioning and this, that, and the other. But we've got, if you're lucky, you've got a desk fan.
Yeah, like that's in our office. That's all we have. Like one dude in front of us has got a little USB mini fan.
Wow.
Everyone else just has to suffer.
I'm pretty fortunate. It's one of the few times that I love going to work in this, and it's this weather, because right above my desk is an air conditioning unit. So.
I would stab and skin a baby for an air conditioning unit, like in that office, because I mean, work is going incredibly well at the moment, and we got I'm going to Devon for a couple of days on Monday, and I'm hoping that the weather kind of holds up. So I mean, we're seeing like a really big client anyway, so it should be cool to see them all. But all I can think is, oh my god, it's like a 4-hour drive, and if the weather's like really bad, and like we're not going straight to the hotel, or like we're going straight there to just start working, and if they don't have an air conditioning unit, and like everything is just sort of falling apart. So I hope that it absolutely pisses it down this weekend and kind of resets everything, because this is just madness.
That's the problem, though. Like we complain about the weather. We complain if it rains. We complain if it's too hot. We complain if we just complain about everything. But it's horrible, like so hot and muggy and just nasty. But then it'll rain, but it's still hot and muggy and miserable. But it's worse because it doesn't look nice anymore.
I cannot wait until like. Well, when it's sort of mid of August now, so maybe another month, maybe another 2 at this rate, when it's starting to hit just getting cold.
I don't know if it will, though. The way it's going, it's going to be like getting close to fucking October before it starts getting cold.
I went to lunch with someone today, funnily enough, from New Zealand, and he was telling me that in New Zealand, I can't remember if he said it might have been last year, when like, because like this sort of like this level of heat hasn't really been something we've dealt with until like the last year or two, maybe. But he said that in New Zealand last year, I think it was last year, like, it was just like 6 months of weather like this, and then it was just winter. Then it just there was no cool down. It was just bang. It was just cold.
That's mental.
And again, they're equipped to deal with it, and they grow up in that kind of temperate climate, so you can kind of get used to it as well. We are not prepared for this.
I feel sorry for all the people who have gone on holiday and gone
because they're going to cooler countries than where we are at the moment.
But I can't think of anything worse than paying X amount of money to go, like, I don't know, Spain or Turkey or whatever, like wherever they're going, and they've left like 32 degree heat here to go there, and it's like it's like holidays. When you have a day off work, it's always better when nobody else has.
Yeah, because so you can actually enjoy it.
Yeah, you can just rub it in. Like, I'll see it Monday. They're like, what? And they go, I like doing it on, like, say I finish on a Wednesday or something, and I've got like a Thursday, Friday or whatever. And there's one of the other managers, so I goes, what are you doing with your nice long weekend? You go, I'm not. I go, oh, it's just me then. See you later, bye.
I've got 20 days left to use, Callum, and I've got to use them by the end of the year.
That's a lot of retro shenanigans.
Well, if someone would actually give me a time and day that I could come down and we can do some.
Well, we shall discuss it after this, and we shall
damn right
prearrange.
Because I have to use those holidays, mate. I can't have another job where I don't take any time off.
I can never not. Like, soon as April
this is
comes,
it. Like,
that's it.
I wish I could just bank transfer some days off for you.
I'd love it. I've been really good this year so far. I know we're only a couple of months into the holiday season, as it were, but I'm better this year than I was last year with holidays. But I haven't had to do like appointments and stuff. Most of my holidays have been used for something rather than time off, which is annoying.
That's nice.
No, it's annoying.
No, I thought you meant like doing a thing rather than just sitting at home not doing anything.
Oh, no. Like, that's what I want. I want to just sit at home and do nothing. But it's because Logan's got a hospital appointment, or Zoe's not very well, and it's the holidays, so there's no one. She can't look after Logan, so I've got to put the time off. Whereas I've never really had time where Zoe's at work and Logan's at school. I can just have like 8 hours to myself. I don't get that. But it's the trials of being a parent and being an adult and all that stuff. However,
well, we didn't all come here for a pity party.
We didn't. I was going into a segue for that, and I was like, compared to the trials that some people face, i.e., try not to get murdered by the predator.
Okay, maybe they could have worked.
How?
Yeah, sure. I told you about stealing my shit.
But no, we've both watched Prey, the new Predator movie on Disney Plus, which, when we had a very, very, very brief discussion prior to this, and then we were like, no, record. Let's talk about it on that. And what I wanted to say before I forget, did you know why it went to Disney Plus and not the cinema?
Fox, presumably.
No. Wasn't it a Hulu original? Well, yeah, but like Disney own Hulu, so it's Hulu over there and Disney here.
See, funnily enough, because I was talking with a friend of mine about this the other day, because she really, really liked it as well. I haven't met anyone who didn't go, it was fucking sick. But it was, because it's not 20th Century Fox Studios anymore, is it? It's 20th Century Studios, I think they've changed it to when we watch it. And all I could think of was this like when, it was part of the buyout? Did they get this license and they said, well, we've kind of already started working on something, and they didn't have any faith in it. So we just sort of like, well, we'll just, like, because there's quite a few sort of Fox properties that came out that Disney released and just was sort of like, well, we're not really going to do anything with this.
New Mutants.
Exactly, yeah. They just sort of go, it's out there, but we're not really putting any marketing into it, and we're not going to do a huge amount with it. It kind of, I don't think that, like, because I think that even if you'd watch this as like an executive, you'd be like, oh, this is way better than just like some, like, if you look at like
the Predator. Did we make this?
Yeah, it's just like, this is way, like, it just felt like they just went, we've got the property, you've already got the green light, here's a bunch of money, just do what you want. We don't really give two shits as to whether it's any good or not, because eventually we'll get round to it and we'll do it properly.
We'll do it.
It felt very much like they didn't have enough faith in it to release it, or at least there wasn't enough money in it to justify a cinematic release. But if you know the reason, I'm very curious as to what it is.
So basically, the original concept, and there is a version of it available, is the movie wasn't going to be in English. It was going to be in the dialect of the like the Indian tribe of the
Comanche. I think
Comanche. That's the word I was looking for. So it's, what was the terminology of this? It's seemingly a forgotten dialect, but the whole film was going to be that, and then subbed.
So it'd just be an entirely subtitled film.
Yeah,
I kind of dig that. I'd much like, because they did it with like the French colonists that were, spoilers for Prey, by the way. But like, because I went to, because like with some things like, for example, American Dad, right? There's a Japanese character in that who only speaks Japanese, and for some reason when you're watching it, sometimes there's subtitles, is what he's saying, and sometimes there aren't. But if you go to the closed captions and turn on subtitles for English, it will come up in English. But when I looked on Prey, when they were all talking French, and I was like, oh, I don't know what they're saying. Maybe it's that same thing again. Put on closed captions, and it just went. It said something like
French dialect,
jabbering in French. And it was just like, I was like, oh, so we're not supposed to know.
We'll never know what they're saying.
That's really cool, because it's just sort of like, oh, well, she doesn't know, so why would you?
Yeah, it's something.
I like that.
It's a very, very, very small like thing to put in a movie, but when you're looking at it, because you're seeing it through her point of view, and like you say, she doesn't know what they're saying, and it's not going to move the story, whether we know or not. It doesn't move the story in any way.
You can gather, like, in the same way that she can. You can gather it from context.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's all about the visuals, and I think like when I was reading it, and it was basically saying like the Disney Plus release meant that we could release this other version at the same time as well, the way that it was originally. The original idea was to do it like that, but they couldn't do that with the cinema release. Now I don't know if there is some hesitation from, because it was a Fox property, that Disney didn't have that much faith in it, and I would say that would be part of it. But
well, look at how many Predator films there's been. So you've got original Predator, but that's an 80s classic, and it's like, as with a lot of these, like Terminator and Aliens and stuff like that. Like the first one is usually, and RoboCop, they kind of like, it's this incredible character, this great universe, and then they try and capitalize on it and usually fuck it up. But you've got Predator, which is great, Predator 2, which is divisive, but you know, I think it's okay. Then you don't have anything, I believe, so correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you have anything until Alien vs Predator, and then Alien vs Predator 2, then Predators, and then The Predator.
Yeah. And Hunting Grounds.
So that's 6. Hunting Grounds, that's a game.
Yeah, no, but it was part of the movie universe.
Oh, really? Is it canonical? Okay, well, hopefully that's in the bin as well.
And it's garbage.
Yeah. No, I think like, it was all right. It wasn't a well executed, but the idea was fine.
It's just monster VP, like Evolve.
It's the Monster Hunter, not Monster Hunter.
Evolve.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Thank you. So there's 5 films of, again, they sort of plunge very quickly in terms of quality. Like Predators with like Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne and stuff like that. I watched that probably sort of mid this year, when I think it's when they were sort of building up the Predator collection on there again, and they were adding the new ones in. And I still think that that's quite good. But it seems to suffer, as with.
It's not the worst. But
I
don't rate it, but I've always said that film is one that, you know, every now and again, like you'll have. I know we mention them every fucking episode, but like places like IGN will do like an article, like a look back at, and then a property, and they go, "This actually ain't as bad as we thought it was." You
remember it, yeah, like a Phantom Menace retrospective kind of thing.
And I've always seen that movie as one of those properties that is, for the most part, dog shit, but after a few more years, people can understand and go, I see what they were trying to go for, and if they'd have focused more on this aspect of it and done a bit more on this part of it, then maybe it would have been a better film. But what it turned out to be is, what they needed to do was just basically go for a a more atmospheric vibe rather than action heavy, and just world building. It's all it needs.
Well, I think that the biggest thing that or the most obvious thing that I think is a difference between like the last few like Predators and the Predator, is that there's not like 50 Predators that are just all climbing over each other to try and kill people, but there's not a human cast of like 12 people, and you're supposed to have like a backstory for every one of them. You're supposed to care about any one of them, and any one of them could get killed, and you don't want them to get killed because that's your favourite character, Tom Jane. No one gives a shit. So when they get killed, you just sort of like
next one.
Like, because the next, you go, oh, okay, well, you've got 12 people. Obviously, the hot white girl and maybe the black guy, if you're lucky, maybe they'll be the ones that actually survive.
Yeah.
But you don't actually give a shit as to whether they really do or not. Whereas this, it just goes back to, it's one Predator that, for the most part, you've seen annihilate everybody. Yeah. It's this unclipped kill. But my biggest issue with this sort of like, oh, okay, because I did, again, as I try and do with all of these sort of things that I go, oh, I might be into that. I don't do any looking up. I don't read it at all. I want to just go in and just face it as it is. And I was just like, how the fuck can they do a Predator with like lasers and like flying discs and all that sort of stuff? How can they do that? Like, how's that fair against someone from like the 1800s, right? But it occurred to me that like, so they've got the plasma casters and stuff like that in the 80s. Because they're like a step ahead in terms of technological development above humans. So they've got like cloaking devices that are almost, well, they are perfect for the most part. And they've got like this incredible healing technology and that kind of stuff. And then you go back a few hundred years and they've got the same technology that basically you could create now. So they've got like this sort of like magnetic propelled harpoon dart thing. So there's no lasers because maybe they haven't created them.
Well, they've got the dot lasers.
Yeah, but I mean, so have we at this point. Like, it's not impossible to go, oh, well, yeah, we can just put a laser on a thing to point it at something, and like laser guided missiles and stuff like that. That's literally what they do. Is they guide a thing to a thing. But like, a dart that you could just fire off and then it will seek its target out. That's a little bit beyond us, but that's way more reasonable. But go back 200 years, that's impossible technology. You can't fight that. So the fact that they kind of stripped the Predator back as well, and they just went, well, he's not going to have a million billion gadgets and cool stuff. Like, he's got like a shield which can block bullets. He's got that sort of like plasma caster, but it's just shooting darts. Which I think that's better than a plasma caster, because like that shit, when it missed its target, it just flew round and then went straight back into it again. A plasma caster doesn't do that. It just goes zip and then it's done.
If it does, you move out of the way. You're like, oh, fuck up!
Yeah, I mean, as long as you break line of sight the second it fires, yeah, sure, you can probably maybe dodge it. They've got like a wrist detonator thing that's not a nuclear bomb. It's just a bomb. So it's not. It's still explodes and stuff.
Little spinny drones came out of it.
Well, no, because they just sort of like they zipped up and then just sort of lightninged everybody.
Well, you didn't really see what happened. Like they just
it's just sort of like smoke and
and you just see a load of people from like a bird's eye view thing. But
then he's got like his normal blades, and he's got I think did he have like a throwing knife thing?
I don't know if it was his or
cut that guy's leg off. It was like a razor sharp thing that he threw.
Yeah, because it's she picks it up.
Exactly. Yeah. So like these are like they're just sort of like it's primitive technology to a degree. I see what you're saying. Well.
It's just the weapons they've got times 100 in terms of technology. So I see what you're saying. It's better than what they've got. In the same way that it was better than what they had. So they had like AKs and grenade launchers and the other, and he had better versions of those. So that makes sense.
Like his cloaking device, like there's just the shit in the wind blowing at him. You can see him.
Yeah.
So they've gone. Oh, they can't just be perfectly invisible all the time either. Like this is still an evolving technology, and to make it just this sort of like hunting story with him and her, and obviously this is like her own rite of passage to hunt a thing that would hunt you. and like the brother, I think, is like he's not just dispatched because fuck him. Like he gets his moment of like doing sweet, cool, like shit, and he's like shooting arrows into it. And I mean, again, he's no match for it, but he chips away at him quite a bit, like a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah, he puts up more than a fight than a lot of them did, and obviously he had to die. He had to, but
yeah, because that's you know, she needs something, that push to just to kill him that little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, like in another movie, he would have been the one that would have took it down, and he would.
Yeah, maybe if that was made in the 90s or the 80s, yeah, it would have been on him. Yeah, of course it would have.
Obviously, big spoilers for Prey. One thing I'm glad the dog didn't die.
Yeah, it
came close a few times.
At so many points where it was just sort of like a close up where she's just sort of feeling it, I was just like, there was going to be a blade, it's going to come out of nowhere, it's going to stab that dog for the head. Like, because you know what he does when he fights that wolf?
Yeah.
And then he just sort of like blades up his back and then just like Sub-Zero like rips its spine out with its head on. I was just like, he's going to do that to that fucking dog. The only reason they've shown that is because he's going to do that to that dog. But then he's got like the organic
that
melting
spray thing.
Spray.
Yeah.
I like, because again, it's not like it's just lasers and stuff like that. It's just like, oh yeah, it's like an aerosol spray. That's
all it is.
It's like acid and shit.
Yeah.
Like I just thought it was really really well thought through.
When you do put it like that, the fact that they've got these flowers and stuff that they're using for like medical things that happen almost instantly as well, like the paste stuff that they use for like healing the wounds, and the I don't know whether it's pain relief or whatever that they're eating, them orange flowers, but that's as believable as an organic spray dispenser, like a separator.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can suspend belief a little bit with this, but because I thought it was like, oh, for fuck's sake, really? But like when she fell into the bog thing, and then she eventually drags herself out, she's covered in mud, and I was like, and then she's gonna go, oh my god, he can't see me because of the mud, and then it just cut to her just washing it all off, and I was like, well done, like just like you didn't just go, oh my god, the mud, the predator. So like, and then it's just like, again, I think the flowers, it makes you cold. So I don't think that's probably, if that is true, this is an incredible film, because that's the one thing I'm just sort of like, oh well.
I don't think it's true, but I think if that was something that did exist, it would take too long. Like you'd have to do it
figure it out
way before he fucking got there. You can't just do it while you're hiding behind.
I see.
I think.
Yeah, you just pop it, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're invisible.
Yeah. It's
also, if you after like Predator 1, if you know that they can't see heat, if in that universe, if that flower or like a synthetic equivalent of it can just make you cold, why aren't all the soldiers just popping that? That Predator would never be able to see you in a million years.
Well, they wouldn't know, would they? Because it's not like she's gone off and told a load of people.
No, but Arnie would have done. He was like, I covered myself in mud and I've got fire here. That's the hotter target. Clearly they get, and plus they don't. They in Predator 2, I think it is. They put like they get it in a cold storage
they got
area.
A storage thing.
I can't quite remember, but it's something to do with like they know that if you lower the temperature, it can't see as well. So if these plants do exist in that universe, then why don't they all just sort of, we're going to go fight the Predator in 10 minutes, let's pop a flower.
Predator went, right, I know about these fucking flowers.
It's an unfair advantage for the Predators. Right, go and burn all those flowers. Right.
He's got the only one. And he ate it himself. Some of the CGI was a bit janky, I will say.
A little bit. Some of the jumping.
The wolf looked amazing. Trees. The wolf looked real good. But
as did there's like a mouse that got bit by a snake.
Yeah. The snake itself didn't look great, but snakes are reasonably difficult, to be honest.
Well, to be fair, I think with anything like this, okay, well, you can't use a practical, real animal, and then have it get
attack.
Like you can't do that like realistically. So as soon as you see like you go, well, that's not real, so that's probably going to get predatored in a second, isn't it?
But like some of the bear stuff looked pretty good. Some of it was a bit hit and miss.
I thought most of the bear stuff was pretty good, to be honest.
Like when it was like trying to get
when it's
through,
like scrabbling through that fucking beavers.
Really good.
But he just picks it up and it's just bleeding all over him. I was just like, that is a legacy shot. That is just like a predator with a full-grown bear over its head with all of its blood just covering it. I mean, and her face where she's just like, what the fuck is that?
But that was the bit from the trailer that made me less excited, because I was through the trailer. It's like trying to prove herself to like her brother and the rest of the hunters that she could do it, and they, no, you can't do it. You're just a girl. Nah. And then she's going after. Obviously, shows you like some of the shots from when she's like tooling up and like when she's making the. I forgot what they're called, but like the. You know Scorpions. What's the Scorpion movie? Mortal Kombat. The animated one.
Scorpion's Revenge.
Something like that, yeah. But obviously, like he gets the chain blades from where he puts the knives on the rope. And then ties them to his wrists, and then he's like spears. Yeah. That's the word. But I don't know what that actual weapon's called. But obviously, she makes a version out with a tomahawk in this. Anyway, trailer showing you all that stuff, and it's like you can't take on a bear, but you think you can take on the fucking predator. And watching it, it's explained way fucking better than the trailer did, and very glad about that. But like I said, that the shot itself looked really cool when she's just like into like the reeds and the bits of broken tree. He's just fucking mauling at her, and then he just gets. It looked really cool, but like I say in the trailer, it's just like this is. I'm not going to be able to believe anything that happens in this film because there's zero chance that you can kill a predator.
Yeah.
Turns out she's a lot better than I gave her credit for. It's just a bad trailer.
Yeah. But again, it's maybe that's another thing of just sort of unless Disney are absolute geniuses and they've just gone, if we undersell this, like we think that this is the best one that's been made since the first one, if we underplay this, people will absolutely come to its like they'll go singing its praises, because they'll be like, oh my god, this is the best Predator. Like, so they haven't marketed it as the best Predator ever.
No,
they've just sort of gone, it's fine. Like, we haven't given it an enormous budget, hence why it just went straight to Disney Plus.
Potentially,
but with what it is, it's not like a fucking student film like some of the other ones are. Like, it's like someone put real thought into making a good film. But it's not that they've just gone, oh, it's like if you just took the Predator out and just put that bear in, like the film wouldn't be like like The Revenant, you know, where it's just sort of like, oh, it's just Leo versus the bear for the most of it. It's like there's a reason that he's there and there's a reason that she's there, and that it kind of makes sense that they're coming together.
Yeah,
like he's finding all of the predators on the planet. He's finding a wolf, he's finding a snake, and he's like, right, you're no threat to me. And then he's like coming up with oh my god, when he uses that shield for the time, where when he's got that bloke up against the tree and just turns it on, he just cuts his head and the tree, and I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. It was so good. It's
an excellent. It genuinely is it's really good, and I do think it does help that it like you say, it was undersold, and I didn't go in with massive expectations. And in a similar way, to very different films, but Sonic the Hedgehog, it's not so much two, mainly because when I watched the first one, I had very low expectations for the first one, and I still don't think it's a great film. But I've watched it a couple of times, and each time I've gone, it's way better than I remembered. And then I think I watched it for like the third time just before 2 came out, and then I was quite into it then, and 2 was very good. But again, not massive expectations, and it turned out to be a very enjoyable movie. To a lesser extent, The Rise of Gru, because I went to see that the other week. Not by choice.
I think I watched the first Despicable Me, and then after that, it's just sort of like DreamWorks were just like, right, Minions. We're gonna do a million Minions things for the next 400 years.
I hate the Minions with a fucking passion, but
because it's just do them singing, just do a little dance number. It's just saying, fucking bullshit, man.
But
the only decent animated film that they've made, in my opinion, is Megamind, and that's it. They still managed to get a fucking dance number in that as well. Nah,
didn't like that. I thought that was a pretty decent film. I quite liked it.
It's fine, but it's again, they just seem to be milking it.
Shrek.
They can't just milking it.
Oh no,
I think that's mainly the internet's fault.
I was just thinking of DreamWorks films.
I think because I watched Shrek. What's the one where he gets married? And that is that.
Oh no, it's the second one. Yeah, that's one with Cameron Diaz.
It is.
And fucking. I think that's the one that Justin Timberlake's in, rather.
No, that's 3 when he's the prince or something, I think.
I honestly don't know.
Isn't 2 where like she turns into a Shrek monster?
Well, that's the first one.
They go and they get married, and it turns out the king was a... Like, because the fairy godmother's in it. Fucking, what's her face?
Yeah, it is the second one, because her dad's a frog or something.
Yeah. And then I think in the third one, that's when there's Justin Timberlake's a 16-year-old or something. I don't remember,
know.
but
I hate Shrek as well. So. But no, I mean, they're not thinking. Although, have you seen Luck? Luck. Basically, it's a film about good and bad luck. And it.
Oh, is that
with the cat.
Apple TV thing?
Yeah.
I saw a trailer for that, and I was like, "This doesn't look awful."
It looks all right, and I believe that's DreamWorks. I believe. And I watched that film, The Mitchells versus the Robots. I don't think that's DreamWorks either, because that was the guys. No, it's definitely not. It's the same people that made Into the Spider-Verse.
Right. Okay.
But that was a film that never been inclined to watch. Never been interested. I don't even think I've ever heard of it. And then I was just flicking through Netflix for me and Logan to watch something. I went, that'll do. And then I see it came up and it was like from the creators of Into the Spider-Verse. I was like, oh, even better. And very good film.
Because any film that has to go from the blah 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 of blah blah blah, because we have no faith in this film, so we need to put someone's name to it to try and sell it to people.
I'd honestly say the very different films, as good though. As good.
Spider-Verse. Fuck off.
As a movie, if you compare them and go, well, this one's Spider-Man, obviously this is the better one, but animation's very good. Like, the style of it's very good. The story's good. It's got some real funny bits in it. Like, as a movie, it's equally as good as Spider-Verse.
I don't believe you. I'm going to have to watch this to then comment back and go, you're an idiot, and obviously you don't know what you're talking about.
It's very good. It's very good. In the same way that, I don't know, I can't think of any other movies, but like I don't like Star Trek, but I would say that First Contact, is it First Contact? The Borg one?
That's a film, yes.
Yeah. Is as good as any other Star Wars film. Even though I don't like Star Trek. But, and I don't mean that as in the comparable. I'm just saying that's a very good film, and that's a very good film. And that's what I mean with that. So Spider-Verse is obviously better, but just in terms of what makes a good film, that ticks all the same boxes.
Okay, well, I might give it a little look.
Well worth watching.
Watching a couple of different things. Legion. I've started watching Legion again because I don't know why. I never got around to finishing it.
It's never going to get another season. So.
No, but it was like 2017 that came in. I thought this was from like 10 years ago. I can't believe that it was just so soon. But maybe Disney will maybe they'll pick it up or just go, we'll do another multiverse thing and we'll put David in it from Legion, and no one will get that reference because no one seems to remember this show at all.
I mean, they've got the connections there already. It's Xavier's... Oh, I potentially may spoil something, so I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
So, no.
About Legion? I thought you said you didn't finish it.
I finished it. You didn't finish it.
Did you? Oh, well, then, yeah, no, don't spoil anything.
This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because we did podcasts on it.
We might have done the first season, because I watched the first season when it was like probably week to week.
We both watched it week to week, and then...
Yeah, it wasn't until I started watching season 2 and I was like, actually, I don't think I started this at all. And then Admiral Fukushima came up and he's like the dude with the basket head. And I was like, no, I recognise you, definitely.
Yeah.
But where I'm up to now, I 100% don't know any of the story. So I'm like, all of this is new. So this is kind of cool.
It's been long enough that I could go... You could go, episode 3. I'll go, I genuinely don't know what happened in episode 3.
I can remember story beats from it, but that's about it.
Yeah, but like some shows you can say, and you go, what season it is, and I'll have a rough idea of if it's early on in the season or if it's far in. Legion, I honestly can't remember. If you start talking about it, obviously I'll have to piece it back together again, but I think Legion season 2 is better than season 1, but I prefer season 1. Because I think it's structured better.
I'm kind of with you, like, because I like the fact that it's not just sort of like, well, this has got an X-Men connection, so we need to have everything needs to explode constantly and everything needs to whatever. Like they've had a few instances of him using his powers so far, but then like in season 2 they've gone, he knows what he can do now, and everything is just all in the mind. So like we can do weird and wonderful stuff, but we don't have to have a Sentinel knocking about. We don't have to have, oh my god, here's Magneto and here's Nightcrawler, and like they've made this totally separate little universe, and then they've just like I want them to come back to this. I do want them to because like the way that it's shot
when it got cancelled, it was very disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's because it's not mainstream enough. Maybe
no, it's massively niche, massively like
it's very artistically.
Even if you say to someone,
in my opinion,
it's like some of the stylistic choices in it are very like not just bizarre, but very well made, and it fits in like very well. But like if you say to someone and go, "Have you watched Legion?" and they go, "I know what's that," and you go, "Oh, like superhero stuff," and they go like Arrow or the Umbrella Academy or stuff like that, and you go, meh.
No, like, not really.
Imagine the Umbrella Academy if they were all on heroin.
Yeah, everyone's a junkie, and there's a monster that got shit kicked out of it by Professor X in the comics. Like they try to explain like the astral plane and like he can change reality. Like he's like Doctor Strange, but in his own head. And I don't understand.
Very good though, and like very good acting and stuff. He was Beast in Beauty and the Beast, wasn't he? Mm. Yeah, you know the live action remake.
I'll be honest, mate. I think the only live action remakes that I've watched, I say live action, like Jungle Book,
potato.
I don't even think I managed to finish The Lion King.
I think the only one I didn't watch was Dumbo.
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Mulan. I watched Mulan.
Oh, Mulan! I forgot about Mulan. Yeah. Beauty and the Beast is it's just the cartoon. Which,
but then again, why do it?
It's pointless.
Like at least Mulan makes more sense because it's like it's more closer to the. Like,
I prefer
story.
The live action Mulan to the cartoon, but I never liked the cartoon very much.
I know. I really like the cartoon. The cartoon's got way better songs in it.
It's got songs in it.
Yeah, I was making a little joke there because they don't have any songs. I would have loved that whole seriousness, and then they'd done a training montage of someday I'll make up. Like if they'd have just put that in as well, I would have been Aladdin. Like, this is kind of. I did watch that. Yeah. Not great.
Will Smith didn't slap enough people.
No, he didn't.
But
I reckon you could do a remake of that. The re-slapping it.
The re-slapping it. None of them, with the exception of Dumbo, because I've never seen it and I assume it's garbage. But none of them are bad films.
It's fine. It's just the weaker version of
unnecessary.
It's just not as good as the animated version.
Aladdin did a good job of changing the story a little bit and adding extra things in, like the bit like when Iago is basically like a fucking massive dragon when Jafar fucking makes him big when they're chasing him when they've took the lamp.
Is that in the live action or the cartoon?
It's in the live action thing.
Mate, I've watched it once.
I've only seen it once, but
I don't remember any of that. Was there a parrot in it?
Yeah.
See, I can't. Was it Gilbert Gottfried?
No, I was already out because Gilbert Gottfried wasn't voicing him. Again,
what's the point?
We did a podcast on this as well.
Well, I don't care. I expunge anything from my memory that I don't give a shit about. Like Prey, I'll talk about for 3 days.
Gilbert Gottfried's
the live action Aladdin. I remember that Will Smith and the girl who was in fucking Power Rangers. I know that they were in it. That was it. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember if there was a lion thing in the sand at the carpet. Was there a magic carpet?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Was there a monkey?
Yeah, it had a monkey.
Did it talk?
I mean, it didn't talk in the cartoon.
Well, it was like.
That's not talking,
lad, isn't it?
But
it was like emoting.
Yeah. I mean, like he made noises and stuff, and he'd point at things, and
right, okay.
He'd get a bit like when you see the jewels, he's like. So
right.
He did. I bet it was probably the most accurate one.
I remember the. Was it never had a friend like me? Like that whole musical number. I thought like that is the only thing that I do remember. I was like, oh, that's really well put together, actually. Like, because it was just all sort of like genies zipping about and like crazy stuff coming up and that. But like the Lion King, I was just the only bit I remember from the Lion King, like the live action one, whatever, is they go to sing the Timon and Pumbaa song.
Yeah.
And they get cut off immediately because the hyenas go straight after them. That I thought was really funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I do not remember anything else.
I think Seth Rogen was a good choice for Pumbaa.
I mean, he's like that again. It's in the Chip and Dale thing. He's just in everything these days, isn't it?
But it's hot property. But
that is a fucking good film.
Chip and Dale.
Yeah, Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, that's the best live action Disney remake.
100%. That is incredibly good.
But
again, not overhyped.
I remember that it was hyped more by other people, people that wasn't Disney. So like it was like, oh, upcoming movies, blah blah blah. And I remember watching the trailer. I think I was just having my dinner, and it popped up on YouTube. It was like a skip ad video. I was like, fucking hell, Chip and Dale. I used to love Chip and Dale. So I watched the trailer and I was like, that looks fine. And then,
honestly, I don't remember seeing a trailer for it. Presumably, I probably would have done. Or again, like you say, like it's like a YouTube thing or whatever. But I don't recall watching a trailer for it, and I don't even remember seeing. Again, if I'd seen something like in passing, it wouldn't have clocked in because I never really watched Chip and Dale. So
I love Chip and Dale so much.
So I had no concept of this until it popped up on Disney Plus, and I was like, "The Chip and Dale." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm not really a thing about it, but you know, I can't remember if you watched it before me."
Yeah, I told you to watch it, and
I
felt watch it because I've done the same thing as I've done today, where I've gone, the Mitchells versus Machines is equally as good as Into the Spider-Verse, and with that I was like, it's probably as good as Roger Rabbit. And you're like, well, we'll fucking see about that.
I totally agree with.
Yeah,
like,
100%
that is an absolute banging film.
And Roger Rabbit's definitely one of my most favourite movies of all time. And Roger Rabbit's better, and it is 100%, but this is this generation's Roger Rabbit.
For sure.
And I would say they're very comparable to quality and humour, and I think the story is a lot weaker than Roger Rabbit on paper, but it does the job, and it gets through it at a steady pace. And that's what you want in a kids' film.
All jokes that all seem to land.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember just sort of like anything falling flat or just being like every sort of reveal and every person that was introduced. And again, when it's a Disney thing, it's making fun of Disney. Like they've got a billion things that they can pull from, literally for over 100 years of their own content, where they just go, "What have we not used for a while that we can take the piss out of?"
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Throw him in there and make him fat and awful.
Brilliant. Make him a horrible person.
Just oh man, it's so good. But
have you seen the real life troubled Peter Pan?
Ooh,
it's like the kid who played Peter Pan in the like he voiced him in the Disney cartoon.
Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of. I don't know why. I was thinking of the guy who played Jesus from the Holy Land Experience, which is an American theme park in like the 80s, which you absolutely have no idea what the hell I'm on about.
No.
I watched a whole like hour-long documentary on it, and it was amazing. But for some reason, I had him stuck in my head. But what you're on about?
Nah, so basically, he voiced Peter Pan in the Disney cartoon movie, and he was a cute kid, and he had lots of job offers and stuff. And then as he got older, and he wasn't as cute, he got pushed aside, and he became very famous very early. He did a lot of other live action Disney stuff as well,
like a Macaulay Culkin kind of deal.
Yeah, but like obviously way before that. But he was doing like live action movies and TV shows, and then he got the job as the voice of Peter Pan. But basically he got pushed aside by Hollywood, and when he got older and not cute and everything else, and then he essentially became a drug addict and killed himself. But it's just like,
thanks for that, Callum.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of saying. Like it's a really depressing thing, and then
that's kind of what they based it on. Then I guess
that's what I think. Because it's such a similar thing, because that's what he's saying in it, where he's like I was the boy that never grew up, and blah blah blah.
And then all of a sudden they don't want me.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened in Real, I only knew that like after watching.
There's like a whole other level to this that I didn't even know
about.
I
was like, that's so dark and film. Fucking the fact that they've probably had to wait until all of that guy's family's dead, and they go right, get a Chippendale movie made.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like, there's no one that can actually get annoyed with us. Like people can say, well, that's maybe a bit on the nose, but no one can actually just have a go at us.
With the exception of him not being a drug addict and dying, it's the same thing. Like it.
No, but didn't he get what was the term? Like depixelified or whatever the fuck it was. Like where you just sort of like extract bits from them.
In the end, he did, yeah, but.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he did. He got.
I don't think he died though, did he? I'm pretty sure he got arrested.
I thought he was. Oh, maybe. Oh no, because he was like turned into like a million things, wasn't he? Yeah. But anyway, another good film that I waited until. Well, not waited, but I had no inkling to go and see it at the cinema until it did pop up on Disney Plus. Being Lightyear.
Yes.
The
pretty good.
Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why it's had as much of a go about it.
The only thing that I took away from it was people don't understand what it was or who it was for. Main reason being spoilers for Lightyear. You know, at the end, did you watch the post-credit scenes?
I don't think
so. There's two. There's like a jokey one and a proper one. The proper one is all it is just Zurg opening his eyes when he's floating in space. That's it.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see that.
No, nothing major.
Okay.
But we'd watched the one and it was just a silly one and I can't remember what it was. And then Zoe went in the kitchen and then I was forwarding it and goes, oh, there's another one. And she came back. And then he's like, and then it finishes. And she goes, well, we knew that already because he's in the other one. And, no, he's not. He's a fucking toy in the other one.
Wait, did she think that this was the Zurg from
this isn't a
Toy
prequel to Toy Story. She goes, oh, yeah, sorry,
just when you think that people aren't stupid. They can't be that stupid.
They even specifically say it at the beginning of the movie. Like in 1994, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
Yeah, well, that's my biggest problem with this whole thing. It's like, one, are you telling me that in 1994 or 95, that either this was a live-action film that was made, or this was an animated film that was made in 1995? So either it's exactly what Andy would have watched,
what he would have watched.
This is the animated version of the live-action movie that he would have watched. Because either way, in 1994, that film is not being made. That film looks incredible.
It's like one of the best looking films I've seen.
I would love it if you, because I think I've mentioned this before. Like I did like a bit of a weird Toy Story marathon for some reason, but I like in a weird order as well. I watched like 2, then 1, then 4 after 1, and the different and obviously it's like again it's like 30 years, but the difference in animation quality from the end of Toy Story 1 going straight into Toy Story, it's unbelievable. I would love to watch Lightyear that's made with the technology used in the original Toy Story.
And vice versa.
So everything's just sort of flopping about and not really working properly, and they all clip into each other, and like there's no real smoke and the lighting effects aren't there anymore. I think it would be incredible.
That would be mental to see. I'll be totally honest. Yeah. That would be both jarring and entertaining. But I'd like to see Toy Story 1 made with the animations from Lightyear.
Toy Story remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm surprised they haven't. I am surprised they haven't made...
There's a charm. There's a charm to it of just it being like this original...
awful. Because
It does, but this is the first CG film ever made.
Did you see... I saw a thing on Reddit, and it was a screenshot of Scud, the dog, like Sid's dog, in Toy Story 1.
That looks horrific.
And that... Do you know how much it cost to render that dog? It was like $200 million. But again, if you don't do it, if you're not the first ones to do it, then who can improve on it? Yeah, I mean,
if you don't make Toy Story, you don't get anything else, do you?
Like wholly, fully, start to finish CGI movie ever made.
Yeah.
And it was both massively entertaining, very fucking well put together, and a massive accomplishment. And then obviously that's led to Lightyear and Spider-Verse and this, that, and the other, but not Spider-Verse, that's not CGI, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, I find Toy Story 1 the same as like the early seasons of The Simpsons and stuff. And it's really hard to watch because I remember it being
too jarring for you.
Yeah, and because there was such a large gap between 1 and 2, but less of a gap between 2, 3, and 4. Like, I'm surprised Disney haven't done a Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 remaster to look the same as 4.
I don't know, because I don't. What have they ever done that with? They haven't like reanimated Snow White.
Yeah, they've done like
live
digital remasters because
but I mean that's just so that they can sell DVDs or whatever. Yeah, but I don't mean that they go, well, we'll do the exact same Snow White, but we'll use modern animation techniques so it looks like Frozen or Tangled. Maybe.
Yeah.
I just think I feel that it'd be like, well, there's hundreds of animators nearly 100 years ago that hand drew all of this, and we go, well, fuck that, we can just do it in a computer and it'll take 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like it's more magical or whatever, that it's like this original thing.
It is cool because we've had this discussion before with The Incredibles, and it's really mental to think that in not that big of a leap in time, but like say 3-4 years from now, we're going to have this discussion about another animated movie and go, remember when we thought Lightyear looked amazing?
But this is the thing, and this is I will always come back to this point with something like Lightyear, because it does look incredible.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I don't know how you can improve on that.
I mean, to be fair, Love, Death and Robots is a prime example of that.
That's very true. Like that seems to be like those are companies that are pushing the envelope for like what you can do.
Can you imagine if they made Lightyear?
It would have cost about 50 times more. I can tell you that. But I think that like with things like, because I watched Turning Red again, I cannot stop watching that film. I don't know what it is about it.
Very good film.
It is really good, but it's the character, like the emotion and the emoting of like the characters just seems to be like so much more. And like it's the same with like Encanto and even with fucking Coco, and they're skeletons half the time.
Coco's a good film. I like Coco.
They feel and they emote and they move realistically and that kind of stuff. And I think that it's making them more believable and realistic. That's where that's where the improvement comes, rather than just everything looks like a person now.
Yeah.
So maybe if it just, I don't know, because I mean, like, obviously there's going to be a sequel to this. Like, you can't.
I don't know.
This is another thing, right? Because this whole film is them. I thought they were just sort of going, well, we're not going with a weird, stupid Toy Story costume for the Space Rangers. It's this sort of like, it's like a utility suit, and it like, then he gets the jetpack, but it's like an ejector seat, but it's only as useful as it's useful, and he puts the gun on his arm, and that's what he uses to shoot.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that makes way more sense. And then they've just sort of like kidified it. And then that's what they sold in the toy stores or whatever.
Yeah.
And then in the last 5 minutes, they're like, yep, here's the crazy, stupid, but it like combines all of it together. And then they go, oh, here's the the wings, because he thought, oh, actually, those wings are a good idea. And I'll put laser on because that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But then in Toy Story, the entire marketing campaign is based on the last 5 minutes of this film.
Yeah.
Because all the toys, and also there's no socks toys. There's no any of the other character toys.
I think we're reading too much into.
No. I want an answer to this, because the ship that you buy Buzz in is the same one that they get. There's like the shuttle at the end of the film. What about all the other ships that they got? What about the armadillo thing that they had for the entire fucking film? None of that.
Well, I want to know, where does Buzz Lightyear as Star
casual
Command?
fan. That's what I'm saying. He's not a collector. He's gone, oh, Buzz in the cool costume. I'll get that one instead. Get me that one, Mom.
I mean, that's probably what happened. But
I would love to see that remaster of Toy Story, but all of the other Buzz Lightyear Space Rangers come in and go, why are we not here?
The fuck,
we were just as important in that film. Get Taika Waititi back in here. This stupid pen character.
I want to know, where does Buzz Lightyear as Star Command fall into this?
See, that I've seen a couple of people mention that. I've never seen that film, so I really don't know.
I used to watch it on a Saturday morning after Gargoyles.
Is it a cartoon series that was a cartoon in the Toy Story world, or is it a cartoon that's just based on that character?
I think it's a cartoon that was at a time where Disney went, the fuck can we make some money on a Saturday morning? and you had
Oh my god, we're running out of money.
yeah,
The
yeah.
biggest company.
Well, you had like Aladdin, the animated series that was based after the first film, and like you'd have your slots for like gummy bears and bouncing here and there and everywhere. Did you not watch Gummy Bears?
I never watched it. No.
Oh god, Gummy Bears was so good. They were basically like imagine.
Well, tell me about it when the Gummy Bears movie's coming out.
Buzz
Right?
Lightyear Star Command was just an episodic show in the same vein that Big Mouth is a cartoon where this episode is all about this thing, next episode is all about this thing, but it was Buzz Lightyear, but he had a team. You had other people that worked for Star Command, and they were going after fighting Zurg and this, that, and the other.
But were the toys based on that, or were they?
I would assume at the time, yes. When that came out, that would have been this is the thing that Andy watched.
Gotcha.
And
then they've retconned it.
Basically,
Disney,
yeah. Or have
changing timelines.
Maybe Buzz goes forward in time and then he sees an episode of this show and goes, "Oh, I remember that."
Well, in the animated show, have they all got the like Mark II suits?
Maybe
Ranger suits.
Maybe.
Because if that's the case, then maybe that's the.
I remember
the old woman dies. The guy who's not. I love that. Like he goes, I've got 3 incompetent idiots that come with me, and he's like, "Oh, congratulations, Buzz, you've saved the world or whatever. We're going to start up the Space Ranger program again, and we want you to lead it. And here's the best soldiers that we've got." And it's like, these idiots that I've tried to bin off all the way through the film, I want them. Give them the most advanced technology and spaceship
just about managed to scrape through. Luckily, nobody died, but yeah, give them a suit.
Also, the cat robot, incredible, love it.
Very funny.
The sandwich thing, that feels to me like that was a thing in a Disney office one day where they were just talking about
having a meat sandwich,
but it's just a sandwich that's backwards.
Yeah.
Also, there's no viable way of saying like redesigning a sandwich is a good idea.
Not when.
Yeah, I definitely want the meat on the outside so I can like they go, "Oh, you got like juicy meat fingers." Really? That's a good thing?
What I think we should do, Dan,
all over your Space Ranger gloves.
When we organise the next Retro Shenanigans adventure, I think we should have a meat sandwich.
You're going to make me a meat sandwich?
And see if we go...
I've got a feeling, Callum, that the bread goes on the outside, not only because it makes the most sense, because we're kind of used to it, which is fair enough, but it also stabilises all of the ingredients inside so they don't all fall over the fucking place. Because as soon as he picked up that sandwich, everything fell out of it.
And you can't hold it.
How is that an improvement on a sandwich? Tell me that.
But do you think it would change the way it tastes? Just basically, obviously the ingredients are the same.
I think so, yeah. Not taste necessarily, but the way that you'd feel
the sensation of eating it. Because you get that bit of beef and you get the tomatoes and you get everything else and then you get the bread.
I'd say if we can find some sturdy meats to act as like a bread stabilizer.
I mean, you'd want to do. It pains me to say, but you want to do like corned beef or something that's.
You want me to eat a spam sandwich that's inside out?
Well,
I mean, I know the world's going to shit, mate, but we're not going to ration into
I'm
spam
just trying to think of
yet.
stuff like I think stuff like ham. I don't think ham would be worthwhile because it's too thin.
But that's what they use, like floppy, wobbly processed ham.
It reminded me more of like sloppy liver. That's what we're going to do.
Something like that.
So we're going to do a liver meat.
I don't want a fucking liver sandwich. What the hell is wrong with you?
A liver and corned beef sandwich.
You're trying to feed me offal.
About some black pudding. Do you want some of that on there as well?
Yeah, throw that on. Yeah, love a bit of black pudding.
So I like black pudding, but it's massively bad for you. Horrendously so.
Is it?
Of course it fucking is. Black pudding's so bad for you. Especially fried as well.
Got Cheerios with black pudding sprinkled all over it.
It's not that nice.
No, it's not.
But
like,
yeah.
Like a nice bacon sausage and like that is like the ultimate level of like completing that breakfast sandwich for sure.
So do you reckon you could go... I don't like eggs, so I wouldn't do it, but bacon, sausage and egg on the outside...
But also, like, a lot of this is like, again, so like if it was like a bacon sandwich that was inside out, that's like freshly cooked bacon. So either it's cold bacon, which fuck that, or you get your hands burnt.
Well, I mean, I'll eat cold bacon if I'm having a BLT. Like, I don't mind. Do you not like BLTs?
I mean, if there is nothing else,
I
and I'm
love
starving,
BLTs.
nah,
Fucking
mate.
love them.
Like a chicken and mayo or chicken and stuffing or something like that is fine.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to have chicken though.
Bacon, like nothing can beat freshly cooked fried bacon. So why would I want a cheap knockoff that's been in the fridge for 6 hours?
Because it tastes nice. Like bacon's by far my favourite meat of all time of all meats. But
well, I think you mean cut, but sure.
What do you mean?
It's not like there's pork, beef, lamb, and bacon.
No, but like
your favourite cut of meat.
Bacon's my favourite thing to eat.
Not at all. I reckon. Right,
definitely
I've
up there.
seen quite
Definitely
a few
up there.
things where like people have made like so they get like a chicken breast or something. Apologies to all of our vegan and vegetarian listeners, by the way, but like they get like people do it with turkey and that as well. Like they'll get like a cut of chicken or whatever else, and then they'll like wrap the bacon around it, and they'll like it's like a layer around this thing, and then it sort of like keeps the juices in, but it's kind of like a twofer. But I reckon you'd be better off making like a toasted sandwich, something like that.
That's just like, isn't that
so
just
if you
a
put like
bacon twist?
Bacon. No. I mean, like if you got like bacon. So if you got like a toasted sandwich maker, right, like a Breville.
I have Breville.
And you got. There you go. Perfect. You lay your bacon out. You put like your. I don't know what else do you want on it. So like
cheese. You got bacon and cheese.
Okay, cheese, sure. So some cheese, maybe some tomato, something like that.
Yeah.
So you did like your sandwich, like you lay it all out in the bacon, and then you fold the bacon over, and then put it in the so this would have to be like half cooked, say.
Yeah.
And then like some bread, so like croutons or something like that. Then you put that down and you sealed that in, and it made like an actual bacon sandwich with all your trimmings on the inside. That I think could work.
I'd be down for that. But I prefer my bacon super crispy, like.
Well, again, as long as it's cooked to the point where it is cooked, and then you can just because that's just a crisping machine, really, isn't it?
Effectively,
so you just like smother it in butter to harden it up a bit and solidify it. So you have like a meat pocket kind of thing.
Meat pocket.
If I worked for Disney, that's what they'd be eating when they were stuck on that fucking space station. It wouldn't be a floppy piece of. Yeah, I reckon there's a market in that for sure. Maybe not
specifically Lightyear, but meat pockets.
Well, the thing is, Americans, they have bacon very differently to us, and I don't think American bacon would survive that.
No, they just have rashers, don't they?
No, we do.
What's American ones?
They've got
called?
like those strips, like bacon strips that are like you snap them.
Yeah, I love them
because they're like
love them.
Dead. That's not proper bacon, mate.
I love them. Do you like gammon?
Forget it.
I don't, and I was told
not overly. It's just very salty and
it's way
slippery.
too salty for me. But I was told no, I've never really had it a lot, but I don't like it. And I was like, it's just really thick bacon. I was like, oh yeah, sound
pretty much.
But it doesn't taste
nowhere
near as nice as bacon.
Well, I cut it up into strips if I'm so I've got some. Like the meat deliveries that I get, again, apologies vegetarians, but like I literally get not for a while, but I get like a box of meat delivered that's like chicken breast. It's like protein. It's like a box of protein basically. And gammon was in that, and I was like, oh god, it's like because it's like the celebrations box, and you go, oh, the bounties at the bottom, fucking hell. Well, I can't bin them. I'm just gonna have to suffer through and
bounties?
eat them. I've like a box of celebrations. Get the fuck.
I love bounties.
Nah, mate. Give me all the Twixes.
This is why we should live together. I mean, I love the Snickers, but I'd eat all the bounties, and you can have all of the other ones, except the Snickers. We'll have to share the Snickers.
That's fine. Yeah. I'll have all the Twixes.
Yeah, you can have the Twixes. I don't dislike Twixes, but given a bounty or a Twix, we'll have a bounty.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So the gammon is the bounties in this box, right? And I was like, oh god. Well, I don't want to bin it. I don't want to waste meat. So I was just like, well, I don't want to just because it's sort of like a gammon and pineapple, like a Sunday lunch or whatever. So I was like, I'll just cut it into strips. Like again, like if you're adding like bacon to like a stir fry, like into pasta or something like that. So you like strip it up like ham, and just throw that in with a bunch of stuff, and it's surprisingly good. Like because the saltiness kind of like salts everything else as well. So you don't need.
It's nicer in small quantities rather than having a big cut of gammon.
Oh yeah, this isn't like a joint. It's like a slice of a joint, and then just like that, just like portioned up and then thrown into another thing. Absolutely works.
I mean, I'll have anything. Like, I love burgers. Burgers are that's probably my favourite thing. But I can also have bacon on a burger as well. So, best of both worlds. And then
or a bacon in a burger.
Yeah, what about that? What did we saw when we were shopping? The pizza burger thing.
Pizza
yeah,
burger.
it was like a cheeseburger, but the buns were pizzas.
Oh my god, what is going wrong with the world? People are starving.
This was the last time you came down, and we were there, and we was like, shout.
No, I remember there was like Magnum balls or something like that. Magnum.
Yeah, we didn't get it, but it was when we went shopping and we got that, and we were looking and we were like, oh, should we just get this instead? I was like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I bet it would have been fucking. Like, you'd have all been processed shit.
Yeah, you'd have been better
awful.
off getting small pizzas, and then just getting a patty and just making your own.
I am so hungry right now. I haven't eaten. Like, again, I went for lunch with someone today, and I got like a nice what was it? It was like a nice roasted sea bass. It was real good.
Fish.
But that was at 12 o'clock, mate. So that was 10 hours ago. I haven't eaten anything since
it's
then.
now 10:10 at the night.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair,
and I've got 2 bits of salmon sitting in the fridge ready for me.
See, I was all hungry as stuff, talking about burgers and pizzas and that, and then you've mentioned fish twice in less than 3 minutes, and I've already gone past it.
Brain food, mate.
I hate
it's all good for you.
Hate it. Well, I say this is going to be the latest I've eaten in a long time. But I think we'll wrap it up there because we're coming up to the hour and 15 mark.
Well, was there anything you actually? Because I know we meant to talk about Prey because Prey was awesome.
Yeah,
and it's
well worth watching.
Fairly recent.
Available on Disney Plus.
Yeah. But was there anything else specifically?
I've been watching Sandman on Netflix.
Okay, that's a relevant thing. Put that in the thumbnail and sure.
Yeah, but that'd be the tags and whatnot. But it's very good. I haven't finished it. I think I'm on episode 6. I think off the top of my head. I haven't watched any of it all
week.
Is
it like a 9, 13?
No idea. I want to say 10. Okay. It's very good. It's in the same way The Boys was. It's very different to the comics, but in a good way. And I think a lot of the stuff wouldn't translate very well to the screen, so they've made good changes for the better. But it's very good, well worth watching. Randomly, I started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine from the beginning again.
I started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think its Power Wash Simulator's broken me a little bit because I completed that game, and it's amazing.
I forgot to get Lawnmower. It did. I was meant to text you and I completely forgot. But
I did get Lawnmower.
I forgot to get it off Epic.
Free on Epic.
Yeah, completely forgot.
Nowhere near as fun. And I'd say fun, like, because someone said this the other day, right? Because I was talking about, because one of my colleagues, he's a big buff dude. And he's his whole routine is just sort of like, it's about the gym. He eats like a whole bunch during the day. He's in great shape. He does like loads of different sports and things like that. And I was telling him that I'd spent about 6 hours the day before digitally power washing a skate park, and he was like, "What?" Like, I had to physically show him, and he was just like, "I don't understand. Like, why would you do this?" And someone else said, it's kind of like those like adult coloring books.
Yeah,
it's just like it's just a slow, meticulous, cathartic thing that you can just sort of, you do a thing and you just do it repetitively and kind of mindlessly. Yeah. But whilst I'm doing that, because you don't need any concentration really to do that, especially now that I've got all the top tier shit now, so it just cleans everything immediately. I started watching Making a Murderer again the other day, and I was cleaning the entire subway bathroom, like Russian bathroom thing, and I got through like 2 or 3 episodes of that. So do you know what I mean? Like, time just disappears playing it.
I like seeing people.
But I started watching Brooklyn again.
Did it just?
I think it was when I was watching that. I was just like, what can I just have on that I don't need to concentrate? Because I finished Friends from the beginning again.
Yeah, I finished that the other week. No, yeah. I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm getting close.
Right.
But I was walking past a TV, and I heard something, and I was like, pretty sure that's Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then looked, and it was, and I can't remember what the episode was. I was like, that's one of the early ones. That's pretty good. And then like so many days later, I was like, fuck it, I was gonna start from the beginning because I really like Brooklyn. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, just started randomly watching that. But just going back quickly to Power Wash Simulator, I saw it wasn't Steam. I don't think it was Game Pass. I can't remember. Oh, no, it was just on Reddit. And someone had put a thing up, and it was like a hidden... Oh, what the hell was it? It's irrelevant. They'd noticed something in the game, like a little Lara Croft picture or something like that. Like, just something in there. And then someone had replied to the thingy just saying, like, I've put like 20-odd hours into this game. And then they...
Rookie numbers, mate.
No. Like, they were saying, like, I only downloaded it, like, so many days ago, and I've already sunk, like, X amount of hours in. And they attached a thingy of, like, playtime. And then next to it is a picture of his own garden, and his slabs are a fucking mess. It's like, I've literally spent, like, the last 2 days... jet washing.
I could have done it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even do my own things, but
but like the thing is, like, Lawnmower Simulator just doesn't have that same. I think it'll be in my library because it's an Epic free thing. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to install that because
I'm not that disappointed that I didn't get it, but mostly because I saw Markiplier played it. And he was playing, and he's been going through all of the, like, Power Simulator, Lawnmower Simulator, PC Building Simulator, like all them ones.
I've got that.
I had that.
That's
on
actually
Epic.
quite good.
It's all right.
Yeah. There's a second one coming out soon.
Really?
Yeah, it's got like all the new, like, it's like instead of just updating it with like whatever the new tech is, they'll just release a new version of it.
Yeah, like they do with PCs. But he'd got that. And then he played a bit of it and then went on to a different game. And then he comes back to it and he was like, I've just found out that there's, like, dinosaur DLC. So
yeah, there is, yeah.
He buys the DLC, cuts away and comes back. It's all installed and that. But it's just a park. There's no dinosaurs in it. So he got it on the pretense that you could... drive around with dinosaurs and they'll be like milling about and stuff.
No, I can tell, like, because there's like an advert for it in the one that I've watched, and it just looked like they were statues.
That's all they are.
It's like in a mini golf course.
Yeah, some of them, like, you'll drive past and they'll go, and that's it.
Yeah, but I did, like, Cooking Simulator was added to Game
Pass
yesterday.
I saw that.
Downloaded that, Callum. Of all the fucking games that I've ever played, that is the one that I am absolutely the most gutted is not
really
multiplayer, because I would give anything. I would stab and skin a baby to be able to play this online with you, so I could scream at you about not seasoning the salmon properly. It's so tedious because, like, it's not like sort of like Surgeon Simulator where it's like purposefully like
it's a
difficult,
bit silly,
whatever. It's like, you know, you get your potatoes and then you've got your knife and then you need to line up to cut your chips up and then you put that in your fryer and you do all that and you've got to do it like in a certain time, otherwise people are going to get annoyed or whatever. And all I can think is of just me screaming at you for, like, mis-chopping the tomatoes. I'm like, how's my plate supposed to be presented if you've chopped the tomatoes up like a twat?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, is it the one, like, so when you have to serve up and obviously the customer gets their food, you've rated on time,
like
presentation, taste, and how it's... Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones Markiplier did. Markiplier played. And I'm pretty sure Zoe said the exact same thing. She said, like, I'd love to see you and Dad playing this. I was like, why? She's like, he'd go fucking ape shit.
I was getting annoyed at myself because I really quite like cooking, and this does seem to be more sort of like, rather than just sort of like taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, oh, it's a preparation phase. You've got 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, okay, well then I know I've got 3 recipes on the go. So it's like tomato soup, and there's like salmon and potatoes, and there was another thing. So I was like, right, okay, well, tomato soup, that's going to be a popular one, I imagine, because it's just soup and easy, and it's for the first level of this thing, for sure. So I had to get into the kitchen, and I'd given up on the controller because, like, trying to cut and pick up like an individual piece to put back in your pot because you've spilt everything. It's just such a ball ache with the controller, so I've gone back to mouse and keyboard. So I picked up my tomatoes and I brought them back in, and then I got my knife and I was like, right, okay, so let's just... But if you cut it slightly wrong, it'll like sort of bounce it away. So I was like, oh, I'll just bring that back, and then you pick up your chopping board and then you pour your tomatoes in. Time ran out.
Yeah.
I was like, I've cut like 2 tomatoes up, and the first order that came through, salmon. I was like, I would have been It's like, Callum, why did you start with tomatoes? Obviously, they want the salmon, you fucking idiot. Like the first thing I did after I'd done that one order for salmon, I quit the game immediately and I checked on Game Pass to see if it was multiplayer, and I was like, oh,
Would have been a good one. Would have been a good one. I mean, if they ever do another one, it might be. Obviously, we've rambled on for long enough. We're encroaching the hour and a half mark. If you're still here, excellent. Well done to you. If you want to see more, you can head over to podcastservicesplayer.com. The whole website's had a bit of a spiffy update. So if you want to check it out, I put a lot of time into it. So it would be appreciated. Drop us a message on the wall. Obviously, check out the videos and listen to the podcast, available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google, everywhere that you can get a podcast. Dan, thanks for joining me, and thanks for being a big sweaty mess. We'll see you later. Bye.